Hello, this is Conan Stoops and welcome back to another Lumen Legacy HTUC video, and today's video is on the strongest version of Gargolem, Attack Gargolem. Gargolem is actually the strongest wall breaker in the entire game right now, so let's talk about it, from counters and checks and teammates to the sets and roles Gargolem can play, as well as its weaknesses and resistances. This video is on how to use and counter Gargolem. So, what role does Gargolem play? This question is pretty important and easy to answer, and we can answer this with its base stats. Its base stats are pretty simple, because its HP and defenses are the lowest for any offensive Lumion, so never want to switch this guy in. Mostly using pivoting and revenge killing is what you want to do. But it does have good energy and a pretty good speed tier. It is outspeeding Garbantis and Volcaloa and anything under that like the Mara and Vesperatu, and its energy of 100 is actually pretty good. It is higher than the starters, but not as high as the roamers. It's a good balance and above average, which is actually pretty nice. And its melee and reach attack are both 155, making Garbolin or whatever the highest hitting melee and reach attacker in the entire game. So, what role does Gargolem play? It's basically a very strong wall breaker. It's the strongest in the game, and since it does have a good speed tier, it's pretty fast, and it does have the potential to clean/sweep teams. So with that out of the way, let's talk about Gargolem's weaknesses and resistances. So it's the same typing as all of its other forms. It has two weaknesses to water and plants. Water types like C.B.O, Barblast, Luminami, and plant types like Totab are some stuff you should be watching out for. 3 resistances to Brawler, Bug, and Toxic. Bug types like Harvesect and Bellatrix. Toxic types like Venolin, Snagoops, Swolders, and some other stuff, as well as some Brawler types like C.B.O and Wrestling. And it does have a major weakness to Ice, so Ice types like Kimber, Mocho, Tundulin are some stuff you should be watching out for. But it does have 2 immunities to Electric and Earth. Earth types like Cetamars, Borok, and Tyrex, and Electric types like Joltooth, Meditone, Halvantic, Zulong are some really good stuff to switch in on. So with that out of the way, let's talk about Gargolem sets. Now, despite the name, the Range Breaker set actually can be a pretty good mixed set, and the ability will be Master, mainly because you want to increase your range attacking and melee attack stats, which is pretty nice overall, and its personality will be Smart. You could of course run Brawny, but I'll explain why in a bit. It does have Landslide, Jetstream, Earthquake, Boom Bash as the same combos as like the fast Gargolem, and also Dark Surge is here too. And you might notice the Nosedive and Barbs, yeah, as well as Earthquake. Fun fact, these melee attacking moves with a few investment, which I'll talk about later, can 2-hit KO a very robust, or not robust, but a robust or very clever Iliguana. It's definitely niche, but it's not really the best, so I wouldn't really consider running mixed, but it's definitely an option. And the items of choice, Earth Essence, just like the Speed Gargolem, as well as the Draft and Terra Shells are good because it is a wall breaker, and the Clutch Plushie can be good if you do want to use multiple moves and want to live some hits. And of course the Specialty Boots, since you are running multiple coverage moves and you kind of work in well with that ability of yours, Specialty Boots will be pretty good for Gargolems if you want to sweep and clean the teams, which is pretty nice. And of course the TP's 80 energy lets you use 4 landslides, 4 landslides or jet streams, and then you can use 2 nosedives, which is pretty good. 200 range attack is to max it out. 184 speed is to outspeed 200 speed Wintrixes, I'm pretty sure, or 200 speed Volcaloas, which is pretty great, and anything under that. And 32 HP is just the leftovers. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the counters and checks as well as its teammates. So, unfortunately, defensive counters and checks to this man is not a lot. It's basically the same as last time for the Speeds version, except it's a lot more dangerous. Wobblisk is even less of an answer now, considering that it doesn't have Rejuvenate or Recovery, while Cetamars is even better than an answer, I guess you could say, because Blaze Punch or Blaze Chomp will be doing a bit more damage, and Iliguana and Stratosaur are still good answers. They're just fearing for their lives right now, because it still does pretty good damage even without setup, which is pretty scary. And for offensive counters and checks. Now, there are a lot fewer ones compared to last time. Yay! Basically, you want to run stuff that can hit it super effectively and outspeed it. Now, here's the thing. If your Gargolem or whatever is running boots, that means these guys are basically invalidated. All you have to do is run 200 speed and you're outspeeding these guys with boots. So this means that even offensive counters and checks are not really the best because it might be boots and you never know, so yeah. However, offensive teammates on the other hand is really a lot. There's just a bunch of them. Like I said earlier in the last video, fire types like Ikazune and Pyrelin do really well against what it speaks to. And of course, brawler types like Totab and C.B.O can hit, or it does pretty well against all of the walls that I said earlier. And Ticlips, Zulong, and Gobatomic are of course common hyper offense style Lumians. Of course, you can include stuff like Protagon, Hunter, and Ferroglyph here as well, and of course you can include Phage Knot. And lastly, defensive counters and checks is simple as well. You just want to run a lot of bulky stuff if you do not want to run hyper offense. There are specific stuff that you can run, but generally your meta walls is still fine. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the conclusion and my thoughts. So yeah, I really do not like how strong this Lumion is. Now of course it is very prone to revenge killing, but the thing is, unless you're not running boots, this guy is going to be pretty scary. Unless you're not running a revenge killer with boots, then this guy's just going to be steamrolling teams over and over. Because this guy can just run boots or any strong hitting item and it's just going to be doing a lot of damage. Obviously there are some counterplay to it, like I said earlier, there are checks to it. But even then, those checks are easily put to a stop by stuff like Ikazune, C.B.O, Totab, and oh my god, and Pyrelin. So it's just really scary to think about. Its coverage is super dangerous because it is one of the best coverages in the game in my opinion. So yeah, things are looking pretty scary. Like the video if you enjoyed, and of course subscribe if you want to see more of these videos. I'm Cotton Stoops, and of course Zulong is still a dumpster fire, especially when it's compared to this.